Hi YouTube, Roy Marco with Roy Marco's Garage coming today with the 57 Chevy, and the wiring harness is basically all in the car. Just have to hook up a couple things using that haywire kit that we discussed in the previous video and how it's all in the vehicle and how I routed it. I'm not going to show you how putting every wire in because that's kind of boring, but let me show you what I did to get there, so come along for the ride. Okay, so first off, as you see, and you might have seen in the previous video, I have the gauge clusters wired on the back and ready to go to plugs. Alright, so inside the car here we have our dashboard. All the trim is on, new switches. There we go. A radio's installed. And new clock. Okay. And we also have sort of took all of this apart and reconditioned it with some new knobs and cleaned up all the brake work. That's for your heater control. All in the wiring inside, as you can see here, there is the opposite plug to the one for the gauge cluster. 6 pins, and then the 7th is for the high beam indication. So basically you can get your gauge cluster in here, plug it in on these 57s to remove it. If you've ever done one, there's a ton of little bulbs and everything you have to disconnect to get it out of this hole, and then of course everything's dangling and hanging here. The only bad part too about a 57 is you kind of have to do some work loosening up the column to get this actual gauge cluster out. So the steering column is entirely taken apart right now to be able to put it all back together. One note that I had to do here is there's tab that was busted off right down here, and if you can see, I had to weld that on. I used oxyacetylene welding in the car to be able to achieve this. Put down like a fire blanket and was able to weld that on. That allows that tab to be on, which allows before the signal light switch would kind of be flippy and all that kind of stuff, and it felt very loose. Also down in here too, there was a bolt that was missing right here in the support, and that made this whole column in the car very shaky and very loose, so that's all nice and tight now. This is your speedo drive, the cable here that runs the speedometer. There's your new headlight switch and wiring, just a factory switch. Wiring comes down. This then feeds everything for your signal light switch, which then continues down here and all the way down to your signal light here. This has all been rebuilt. Okay. We got our ignition switch here, key on. We can turn on. We got our heater motors hooked up there. Radio. This is kind of audio sound. I'll put a link and show you what this is all about. I was disappointed with one of these radios in the past, but this time I have to say they've done a good job. You flip that little switch and then you can see what's coming up here on the radio. But one thing I do notice is that it doesn't stay backlit when this is up. So when it's down, it's all good. That radio actually sounds pretty decent, I have to say. I got 2 speakers in the rear, and there's a double speaker feature in the front that gives you a left and right. So anyway, that's the stereo. It actually sounds pretty good, and I'm impressed. The last one I did, like I said, I didn't like the sound of it. This also gives you an option to plug in USB and audio sort of auxiliary cord if you have a phone or USB stick with some music on it. It does give you a cord, but it's a little outdated with the old Apple end. So if you have an old Apple iPod, see, this thing will focus here, you'd be able to plug that in and listen to your music. The only thing is he doesn't have an Apple. If you happen to have an old Apple iPod, you could plug this in, but since he doesn't have that, we're not going to use this aux cord. There might be one available for new Apple applications. Okay. Also, down here is where his 3 gauge pack is hooked in, and that will have a plug here. Underneath the dash, I did wire the front end of this car last year, so I did not rewire the headlights and all that again. I just tied everything in. So there's some relays here. 4 relays plus the horn relay that did come on with the fuse box that's up there. I utilized another relay down here to go to his transmission for his lockup on the torque converter. So one of the things that was changed on this 57, and if you're into these cars and you want to kind of know, painless, this is a wiring accessory for adding either a safety neutral switch or backup light switch. But I did find a better way. This is a retrofit switch that is actually for a 63 to 66 Chevy Nova. This is the old, or Chevy 2 I should say. This is the old safety neutral and backup light switch, which goes on the bottom of the column of a 57 Chevy. Probably the same for a Tri-5. This is an automatic switch, of course. The thing is, with a 2-speed power glide, you have reverse all the way down at the bottom, so everything's in different locations. As we're in 63, they went to a modern style 2-speed, and that gives you reverse lights and safety neutral switch in the right locations for park, reverse, neutral, drive. And then the overdrive stuff, well, that's after that doesn't involve the switch anymore. So this allows everything to be inside instead of having that big thing attached to the transmission to give you a little switch. So I don't know, I opted to go this way for the guy. Now, one of the things that's modified about this car, if you know 57 Chevys, is that when you turn your park lights on and your headlights, your park lights in the front will shut off. I've rewired it so the park lights are actually on as well as the headlights at the same time. So one of the things he wanted done. We have our tail lights as well as license plate light, and the backup lights we've added, which go into reverse when the column is together. That can show you that. The wiring in the trunk was pretty straightforward. I did use that wire loom that's like almost like it's like a braided look to it, so you have to feed all the wire. It's kind of a pain. That wire loom just goes up to basically under the seat. Then there's some wiring that goes up into the headliner, as well as for speaker wiring, which then goes to his 2 6x9 speakers here that are in the back panel. I cut a matching hole on the other side for the speaker hole, just using a 4-inch hole saw. And that wiring just goes into there, feeds the left-hand taillight, and then goes all the way over into the right hand. And all 3 wires go through those grommets. The backup lights and taillights, brake lights, all that goes through there. Fuel sending wire also comes in through the trunk, goes down through the floor to the fuel tank. So let me show you what this looks like when I get the gauges in here. I got this towel here so I don't scratch up any of this beautiful paintwork that was done. So basically I'm just going to tuck that in because I can actually put that in from under the dash. What I need to do is just hook up these 2 wire connectors. So this is a lot easier to install than the way it was before. This is all pushed together. So I am not taking this apart again. So basically, we can insert our gauge cluster here now. Okay. One note I want to let you know, with the fuel gauge and the RPM gauge here, their gauges are a little deeper, so I had to modify the dashboard here just a little bit. About a 1/2 inch of metal off in here, and then bend the lip up to clear the back of this gauge because it sticks out past the original bezel. Okay, so that goes in like so. This is the triple gauge accessory setup here, the voltage, the water, and the oil. Now that just simply goes into 2 holes in the dash, and then so now I just have to take the plug here, and I can plug this whole gauge unit in, just like that. You're not trying to fiddle with wires and plug in each gauge. So now when you turn the key on, you have voltage on everything. So you got your lights, all your indication, your fuel gauge works, everything works. We have signal lights here. with your signal light indicator up here, and of course on the right hand side you got your key on for starting here. Starts and runs. Okay, so all the gauges down here, we have our switches hooked up, electric fans, and also for the transmission overdrive unit. And there you have it. That's the gauges. So I'll work on getting all this together. All right, now that it's dark out, let's go through the interior, what this looks like at night. The lights on. There you go, all lit up. And the 3 gauges down below all lit up. Heater controls and the clock. The only thing is, radio doesn't have a backlight on it, but if you turn it on, it lights up, but when you close that shutter,
never been a better time
it actually doesn't light up. So okay, here it is at night, all lit up, just to show you how all the gauges light up. And then the 3 gauges down below here, just kill that red light here, there you go. So there's the 57 with the tail lights. Got a 3rd brake light, and then there's the backup lights on it. Got the marker lights. Pull the headlights here, right? When you pull the headlights on this car, you wire it so the marker lights actually stay on. Normally these would shut off. I did manage to install the sway bar. Also, I had to change a little bit of how it would sit to clear those calipers that we talked about, that wheelwood brake kit. Yeah, I did. It does clear them just. Consequently, I had to move the sway bar head just about a ½ an inch, so those sway bar links have a little bit of an angle to them, but they still work good. Alright, so as you can see, I got a wheel here that's a little smaller than the original. It was painted with all of the gauge cluster, and the steering column pieces here all got painted as well. There's all the gauges, everything installed in the car during the day. Having the tachometer right in the dash. It's a nice touch, I think. Got the horn. Right, all works. 3 gauges down there. Voltage, water temperature, oil pressure. Just started up, so the engine's not that warm yet. Quick little drive. Got the high idle there on the choke. Advantage to the smaller steering wheels, it does give you a little more gap between the leg and the wheel without tilt steering. This is actually fairly nice. It has a good feel to the car, so I recommend it. Even with manual steering, it actually doesn't make it that much harder to drive. The problem it had, you couldn't really drive this car last year aggressively because there's a good chance it popped that diff out of there. So now it's solid. So I'll make sure electric fans will come on there. Here, speedometer works pretty good. It's about 10 kilometers an hour out from where it should be because of the gear ratio change, so we'll have to change a gear in the transmission to compensate for that. It's now 355 gears in the back instead of what came with the car was at 335. Anyway, 37 ring and pinion, and or 37 ring gear and 11 tooth pinion gear there, so that's what came out of it. It was an open differential. 57, I want to say, was the first year for the Positrack for General Motors. You can backdate these. The spline count's the same and stuff, but the axle length is a little different, so you have to take about 1/8 of an inch off each at the end of each axle, just so that there's no binding going on there. I should have showed you that on film, except I've just been in such a hurry to get this car together. Just going on this thing to get it done. So with all the wiring and all the things, we got about 130, 140 hours in on this. So it's been, with all the other things the guy has to do in a day, it's been long days. Really gets up and goes. Good combination here. Good. It's got good drivability, this car here. So if you set a car up for doing quarter-mile racing, that you might lose your drivability. With a carbureted car, that's where fuel injection is really nice. You can just sort of get on it, and you don't have to necessarily account for engine speed, things like that. You know, with a carbureted car, you don't necessarily floor it. You have to lay into it. So these are things that a little different. As always, if you like these videos, please subscribe, hit that like button, and please like, share, and comment. And we'll see you on the next one. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching. And Craig, I hope you enjoy your 57 and all the work that's been done. So anyway, have yourself a great day.
This one is very wobbly, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
You want to say your ending one more time? Just
Okay, well there you have it. 57 Chevy. It's all good. Go back to Craig. Craig, I hope you enjoy it, and he's going to be here in about 10 minutes to pick this thing up. So anyway, if you like these videos, please like, share, comment, also subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
try that again.
Why?
Feel better.
I can cut that out.
Yeah, but try it one more time to see.
God, you're annoying.
I know, you love me, that's why.
Alright, okay. How do I do this? Alright, well there you have it, 1957 Chevy. Craig's coming in about 10 minutes to pick this car up, so hope you like it, Craig. Remember, if you like these videos, please like, share, comment. Have yourself a great day, and thanks for watching. Fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I can't remember what I'm supposed to say now.
You got it all good, even with the Craig stuff, so you want to try it one more time?
Alright, well here you go, 57 Chevy, all ready for...
Look at me. Try it again.
Okay, 1957 Chevy, all ready for pickup here. It's ready to go for Craig. Craig, I hope you enjoy it. He's going to be here real soon to pick it up. And remember, if you like these videos, please like, share, comment, and have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.